Thanks for joining us for the 4 o'clock news and politics show here at Go Local. 3 o'clock was The Taste with Rick Simone, talking a little bit about Super Bowl fare and getting a head start on Valentine's Day. The place smells fantastic. It was a great show. Be sure to check it out. We've got a couple business-minded stories for you here on Wednesday, making a big impact. I'd like to welcome my first guest into the studio, Matt Olivier with Matt's Local Pharmacy in Middletown is around the corner. Come on in, Matt. Thanks for coming up today. I appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Well, wanted to have you in because we've been writing a lot in the pharmacy world. CVS and Aetna, Walgreens and Rite Aid. Here you are, striking out on your own, opening up Matt's Local Pharmacy. Tell us why you decided to go the independent route and not go the big corporate giants.
Yeah, absolutely. So I've been in pharmacy for about 18 years, and I kind of saw a slow, gradual change. And I didn't really see a lot of personal care being given. So that was something I kind of wanted to take on because that's why I really enjoyed what I was doing. So I felt if I did this on my own, then that was something I could kind of improve with.
So talk to us time frame wise. Tell us a little bit about your journey to here. You've been, as you said, in the industry for 18 years.
Absolutely, yeah. So I really love my job as a pharmacist, and I kind of, about 5 years ago, one of my customers and an employee was like, why don't you do this on your own? And that kind of planted the seed in my head, and then I started going through the motions, and there is a lot of work behind the scenes. It's not like I'm going to open a pharmacy tomorrow. So yeah, so I did my homework, and I wrote up a business plan, and I kind of just every day I would put in some time, and then eventually the time came where I could make that a reality.
And so did you know Middletown was going to be the spot?
Yeah, I've been living in Newport for about 10 years, and I have no intention of leaving, and I love Aquidneck Island, and I love the community, so that was one of the reasons that kept me there was the people.
And you talk about the people, and you talk about folks encouraging you to strike out on your own. Is this from the relationship standpoint? Was this you behind the counter talking with people saying, hey, I could do this myself?
Well, it's funny you asked that because one of the things that really stood out was the majority of my customers would come in and ask for Matt, and I was like, well, then why am I not working for Matt? So then that kind of made sense.
So working for Matt. So tell us a little bit. I mean, did you envision, you worked for the big companies
Yeah,
before.
absolutely. Yep.
So was this something you kind of had in the back of your head all along, or it was a maturation process, if you will, to say, this is where I need to be at my point in life?
I think it was something that developed over time, and it was kind of like every day I was kind of like, you know what, I want to leave my job feeling like I don't know, I owned it a little bit more, or something that I kind of felt like I was able to give my best foot forward, what I was doing. So, and that's kind of what I felt like I'm able to do now on my own instead of for a big corporation.
So are we going to see some movie treatment about you sort of cherry picking customers away from other pharmacies as you break out on your own?
No, and you know what, it's funny because I think a lot of people, they're surprised by it, and the biggest thing is how are you going to survive? But I think there's also a big push for that local type of business, and I think there's a big push for just a local type of service. And again, that's what we're all about. Our front store is all local products, so it kind of gives a platform for a lot of small local businesses to feature their products in our store at the same time. And I think that was a really good way to kind of make us different from the big corporation.
And especially, we have an aging population in this country. There's no doubt about it. Do you find a lot of times people really want to talk about their RX and they have questions, they want to know, should they switch into something else or a generic? Is that relationship really important?
It is, and things like you mentioned actually take time, and that's something that I think was kind of difficult with my previous employment is I want to give these people time, and I want to actually go online, I want to call their insurance, I want to make sure that they're getting the best medication at that best price. Or can I find a coupon, or is there something I can do just to help that person that might take extra time, but I want to be able to give that time, and that's something that I'm able to do now, which is something that I've really enjoyed.
So you're on your own, but are you talking with other independent pharmacists? Are you part of any trade orgs? Are there places that you can bounce ideas off of other people who are in your shoes?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a small world. As you know, there's not a lot of independents left, but there's a very small, tight group of people. We get together, I'd say like once a year, and then I'm constantly calling them. And that's they were my mentors, and I feel like with anything you need a mentor, and they kind of really held my hand through the process, and that was extremely helpful.
So from soup to nuts, when you said I'm striking out on my own, finding a property, getting it up and running, how long did it take?
It took about 5 years. I kind of went through highs and lows. I think that's with a lot of ventures. You kind of realize that you got to kind of pick yourself back up again and give it a second shot. Because it did take about 3 or 4 applications to different banks to even think about giving me an SBA loan.
And then this is a family affair that you're running this operation.
Me and my wife, yes, yep.
And I've heard that you really have a local focus in terms of the products that you're there, because it's just not RX drugs.
Absolutely. So my wife was big in Middletown on like the nonprofit. She worked for the Norman Bird Sanctuary, and she really likes that natural organic side. She was constantly going to the farmers markets, and we need a real way to differentiate ourselves from the other pharmacies in the area, and that seemed like a perfect fit because it was something we kind of really both believed in.
Yeah, it's as you see the big ones try to make no cigarettes, less candy, more healthy foods, but
Yeah.
you're really sort of eating and breathing, trying to have that local connection.
Absolutely. When you come to my store, I guarantee there's going to be a lot of products you will not see at a corporation.
So what have the challenges been so far? I'm going to ask you the challenges and then go to maybe the opportunities, but maybe things you didn't expect you'd encounter running your own business.
I think one of the biggest challenges was trying to do a major build out of a building and then get married in the same year.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, I don't think I would do that again. But besides that, I think biggest challenge is getting the word out. I think when you start a small business, people realizing you're actually there has been a big challenge for us.
And let's talk about the state. A lot of times we have folks here, we have leaders and politicians that talk about helping those businesses along. Did you find that you had an easy time getting started? Are there ways that you were going to try to look to the state potentially moving forward to try to even grow the business even further?
There were resources out there, and I think once you start the process, you'll find there's things like SCORE, and I had some really good people sit down with me and help actually manage my business plan and make it presentable to a bank, which is pretty much the steps you need to go through. But yeah, there was definitely programs in place within Rhode Island that really helped me out along the way.
So what's next? You've got the spot in Middletown, Matt's Local Pharmacy. When was the opening date?
We opened about 2.5 weeks ago, and things have been going great. It's been every day we see new faces, and we've gotten a lot of great feedback.
Is your wife holding down the fort as we speak?
Yeah, she is. And I just hope she's doing okay over there. I should probably call her pretty soon.
Anybody, if you need your prescription from Matt's Local Pharmacy, he'll be back soon. What are the hours at the store?
So we have, during the week, we are 8:30 to 7:30. We're open 10 to 2. And then I need a day off, so we are closed on Sundays.
You are closed on Sundays. So again, opportunities moving forward. You've only been open 2.5 weeks, but what do you see in the coming year and years ahead?
Well, I would like to expand through Aquinic Island. I just think that area is in need of an independent pharmacy, and they're definitely going to benefit from having that local type of service. So I think in the future, I'd like to hopefully encompass Middletown, Newport, and Portsmouth, and get my services out there.
Do you think that you've raised any eyebrows from some of the big guys when you set up shop where you are?
I don't know. I mean, I'm right across the street from a CVS, a Rite Aid, and a Walgreens, so they know I'm there, but I don't know. My volume is very low right now, so I don't even know if it's making a difference.
But that's interesting. You tend to see them clustered all around the same areas. It just is it for visibility and traffic and those types of things to make easy access for people.
Absolutely, and I think from a business standpoint, when I did some research, it's being compared to like a fast food restaurant where you kind of see them all clustered. So
there is a cluster, but you're the independent one. So apart from relationships and the local foods, why should people choose Matt's Local Pharmacy as opposed to the big guys?
Absolutely. So as I mentioned before, I think healthcare and pharmacy is personal, and you want somebody to really take the time to look at your health and your prescriptions and make sure everything you're doing is the healthiest, best thing you can do. So I think you're going to get a better type of service when you come to Matt's Local Pharmacy as compared to a big corporation.
And are there ways to drive down prescription drug costs? This is a very hot topic issue that we've heard. We heard it from the president in a State of the Union speech. I've had politicians in here talking about examining the drug prices of pharmaceutical companies. Is that a concern to you? And will we see you up at the State House offering your expertise when it comes to issues of drug prices?
Well, I think from where I am, I think what I could offer, or what you got to keep in mind, is there are a lot of options when you are prescribed medication. So if you do get prescribed a medication and it does seem like it's an expensive medication, it's really important to talk to a pharmacist or your doctor about other alternatives, or try to seek out different ways to save yourself money. There are a lot of programs out there. There's a lot of different avenues you can go down to get your prescription and not pay a crazy amount of money each time you fill it.
So how do you literally start stocking the shelves when you open up a pharmacy? Is it just when the customers, you come in and you just fill the scripts? you see the big ones and you see all the drugs back there. How does one even begin the process with stocking the
Oh,
pharmacy?
that was actually that was an easy process. It's just like any other company will come and it's a vendor and I can order my prescriptions and they come in. So that's not the difficult part. I think the difficult part is establishing yourself in a location and then starting to build a customer base. I think that's probably the biggest challenge out there.
So you're looking to get the word out. I'm sure you're doing multiple methods, social media.
Absolutely, yep.
Trying to get the word out. And who is your customer base so far? Are you getting more young people, more old people, or is it a combination of both?
I think it's typically the people who are permanent residents of Middletown and Newport and the people who really want to support small business. So we have a lot of people who own small business in the area who've been coming in to support us, which it's been great.
And so apart from going in to get your drugs, you said you have the local products, so do you encourage out-of-towners if they're on the way down to Newport to pop their head in?
Oh, absolutely, definitely.
Okay, anything else we can expect from Matt's local pharmacy
up
in the year?
I think when you come into our store, you're going to see a big difference in the type of service you're going to receive.
Okay, so as we mentioned, again, looking at CVS and Aetna and Walgreens and Rite Aid, we're talking with a young Rhode Islander here, striking out on his own, Matt's local pharmacy in Middletown. Address?
It's 88 East Main Road.
88 East Main Road. Probably see more from moving forward, but it's an interesting healthcare climate that we're in right now. And actually, we were talking about the shakeup with Amazon and JP Morgan and Berkshire Hathaway saying, we're going to form our own independent healthcare company. When you read that news yesterday, what did you think?
I didn't really read much of it. I didn't have much time, but I am interested to see what happens in the future.
See what happens. Major healthcare shakeups here as we continue to report on here in New England, things happening here in Rhode Island and nationally. We boiled this down to the very local level with Matt Olivier. Matt, thank you for taking the time to come in. Okay, I'll let you go around the corner and I'll welcome my next guest. Matt Olivier with Matt's local pharmacy in Middletown, talking what it's like to be operating his own